going to keep training, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to have the fight no matter what. And 4 weeks passed and we decided to have a sparring session, and I took a little clip to the body, and because my body was so weak due to the virus inside of me, I instantly knew something wasn't right. I was throwing up from the pain, I was doubled over. I literally got my bag and went straight to the hospital, straight for an MRI scan.
After suffering from a bacterial chest infection and a fractured rib, Tommy Fury has withdrawn out of his high-profile battle against Jake Paul on December 18th. Tommy Fury stated, "I am absolutely heartbroken that I have been forced to withdraw from my fight with Jake Paul due to a bacterial chest infection and a broken rib." It was originally planned for the former Love Island star, who is also the brother of the heavyweight world champion Tyson Fury, to fight Jake Paul at the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida later this month. However, it has now been announced that Jake Paul will face someone else instead, so make sure you keep watching until the very end of today's video to find out all of this information. A series of bizarre press appearances during which the two traded verbal insults preceded this development. It has been reported that instead of facing Tommy Fury, Jake Paul will now face Tyron Woodley in a rematch of their August fight, with this exact date of the rematch still up in the air if they are able to reschedule their fight. Celebrities from all around the globe have taken this to their social media to share their opinions on the situation in a very public way, which is unprecedented, since he had been looking forward to facing Tommy Fury. Jake Paul was quite sad to learn that the fight had been called off just a few weeks before the fight was scheduled to take place. On the Pat McAfee show, he expressed his thoughts on the situation and how quickly his team moved in order to set up another fight between him and Tyron Woodley. Jake Paul stated that he doesn't care who he fights, as long as he fights someone, the show must go on.
On December 18th, but luckily Tyron stepped up to the plate. My team called me and they were like, "Hey, this is what's going on." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll fight anybody. The show must go on." Yeah, so they called me up and at first it was a chest infection and they said he had a cough. And they were taking antibiotics and so on and so forth.
Tyson Fury also made his opinion very clear on social media and actually made a new video statement about the situation. It seems as if Tyson Fury is siding with Tommy Fury, stating that if you can't fight, then you can't fight, and that Tommy is too big for Jake anyways, and Jake is just leeching off Tommy.
10 days away or something. Can't fight, you can't fight, that's it. And they'll go on, oh, he's lost a payday. He's going to be any good and win a fight. He's going to be rich anyway. He's already rich. You know, the money off the Jake Paul fight would be, it's a good fight for him, all right, but he'll make it again. You don't need Jake Paul to define his career. Jake Paul when he's at home. Floppy YouTuber that no one's interested in. And everybody hates, by the way. So it is what it is. When Tommy recovers from his...
The comments haven't stopped coming. This broke social media, and Jake's older brother Logan Paul has now chimed in with his own videos on his own social media, in which he expresses his strong feelings about the situation. Logan mentioned in an Instagram story that he woke up this morning feeling really bad for his brother because Tommy Fury backed out of the fight against him.
This morning feeling really bad for my brother because Tommy Fury backed out of the fight against him, which, by the way, didn't we see this coming? Tommy, it's a good thing you're beautiful, you sexy blue-eyed beast, because you are a news though. Tommy, you've been replaced, brother. Sorry, that's what happens when you fumble the bag.
Logan Paul seemed to feel that everyone could have foreseen Tommy's withdrawal. However, Tommy's older brother, former heavyweight world champion Tyson Fury, thought that his older brother would win regardless of his injuries. Tyson Fury stated he could probably come up with damaged ribs, a broken left hand, 2 left foot, his clothing on back to front and sick, and still defeat Jake Paul. Logan later went on to state, "Good news though, Tommy, you've been replaced, brother. Sorry, it's what happens when you fumble the bag," remarking Jake Paul's quote from earlier on this week when this situation first came out.
The Furies have pulled out of the fight due to a medical condition. Who knows what's going on in that camp? I think he has a bad case of bursitis. I couldn't believe the news at first. It still doesn't even seem real. He fumbled the biggest bag of his life. Now he will be watching at home, paying me $60 instead of getting paid millions of dollars to fight me.
KSI's former trainer and top prospect Vidal Raleigh has offered to come into Tommy Fury's camp and assist him in his preparation for his fight against Jake Paul. Having started out as a highly accomplished amateur fighter with more than 50 wins under his credit, Riley made the transition to professional ranks in 2018 as a consequence for his strong social media presence.
He's had an injury,
came into play. Disappointing news. People obviously will go off straight away and say he's scared. People say it was fair. Very normal thing to say in the sport of boxing. If someone says they're injured and it's near the fight, you say they're scared. Like, cool, fair enough, but he may actually be injured. We don't know.
As you guys saw, Vidal Riley moved to social media to express his displeasure with the situation, noting that if you would have simply begun the video with "Listen, I fractured my rib," that would have been enough. We wouldn't have needed to know.
Explaining, you know, if you would have just started the video with "Listen, I broke my rib," that's enough. We don't need to know about the phlegm and that. The broken rib bypasses the phlegm and the coughing. So he didn't need to do all of that. But I hear it, he was giving us the full, you know, story. But I just felt like it was unnecessary.
On the other hand, Tom Syndicate even took this to Twitter with his views on this, as he stated Tommy Fury has pulled out of the Jake Paul fight. Didn't expect that to be the outcome. Jeez. Eddie Hearn also spoke up about this in an interview with pro boxing fans, where he stated, "You know, when you find out as a promoter the fight's off, there's a window of about an hour to 48 hours before people find out, depending on who you're working with. So he would have known well before we knew." This explains why Jake's team was able to find a replacement so quickly, and they were able to advertise it. As earlier on into the interview, Eddie mentioned how smart Jake was at marketing and making money, and that's why Eddie had a lot of respect for Jake.
Look how quickly he moved. Do you know what I mean? There's been a lot of people go, I mean, and then you always find out, you know, when you find out as a promoter that fight's off, there's a window of an hour to about 48 hours before people find out, depending on who you're working with. So he would have known well before we knew that Fury was out of that fight. But he's moved quickly, he's gone out, he's got a replacement straight out, and when the news is broken about Tyson Fury, he's gone, "This is my new fight." So, you know, it's smart, and, you know, it's a disaster for Tommy Fury, but
He's putting the time and effort into his boxing. Anyone's got the right to take up boxing. I know you do a little bit as well. I could turn pro, wouldn't last very long, right? You could turn pro if you get a license, you know, if you get cleared by a commission. Everyone's got the free choice to fight. Eddie stated that on the same interview with pro boxing fans, as a lot of people don't respect Jake Paul as a boxer as much and don't like him as a pro boxer, which anyone can become a pro boxer with a license and a commission. We're still going to hear more about this situation as time goes by, so be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get the latest news as soon as it drops. And make sure to hit that like button as well, and let us know in the comments down below what do you guys think about the situation, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.